In late March 2026, social media exploded with a familiar hashtag, Lockdown 2026. Immediately, images of empty shelves and panic buying flooded group chats. The catalyst for this digital panic was a recent parliamentary address by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. During a speech concerning the safety of citizens, he explicitly urged the nation to maintain COVID-like preparedness. Millions of people took that specific phrase literally. They dusted off their survival checklists from 2020 and rushed out to hoard paracetamol, extra hand sanitizer, and shelf-stable groceries. These people are preparing for the wrong crisis. The underlying threat triggering these government alarms has absolutely nothing to do with a biological virus. The actual threat is a severe geopolitical energy and supply chain shock. An escalating war in West Asia has blocked the Strait of Hormuz, cutting off 20% of global oil. For India, this is critical. 90% of the country's crude and LPG imports travel here. With shipping stalled, the supply chain is freezing. By treating this like a public health emergency, citizens are blinding themselves to reality. Preparing for a respiratory virus leaves households completely exposed to a massive, impending economic disruption. To complicate matters, a secondary rumor has fueled the panic: reports of a potential nationwide lockdown tied to the Nipah virus in West Bengal. The objective medical data tells a different story. By early 2026, there were only 2 confirmed cases of Nipah in the region. The virus requires direct contact with infected fluids, meaning it does not spread rapidly through the air like a respiratory pandemic. Despite this data, people are executing 2020-style hoarding strategies, buying up months' worth of canned food and medical supplies. This creates an immediate financial danger for the average household. In a crisis, capital allocation is everything. Every single rupee spent on unnecessary biological defense, like stockpiling excessive sanitizers, is a rupee removed from your economic defense. Prepping for a phantom health threat using outdated tactics drains your liquidity. Cash liquidity is the exact resource you will need to survive the incoming wave of inflation. The true macroeconomic indicator of this crisis is the price of oil. Amid the conflict, Brent crude prices rapidly spiked, crossing the $100 per barrel threshold. This global price surge is a massive inflationary catalyst. It directly increases the cost of commercial shipping, agricultural fertilizers, and basic transportation, passing those costs down to every consumer sector. To absorb this shock, the government relies on the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, or SPR. The SPR is a network of underground government stockpiles designed to hold crude oil specifically for supply disruptions. Between commercial stockpiles and the SPR, India has a total reserve capacity of 74 days, with 5.3 million metric tons in strategic reserves. Domestically, blending 20% ethanol into fuel subtracts 4.5 crore imported barrels annually, dynamically lengthening our survival timeline. While the public stockpiles household goods, the government is utilizing data to stockpile crude energy, unlocking strategic reserves to prevent a total economic freeze. This global energy shock requires immediate, mandatory action at the household level. To manage resources, the government enacted the Natural Gas and Petroleum Products Distribution Order of 2026. This order mandates a massive infrastructure shift. It legally requires residents in urban centers to abandon traditional LPG cylinder deliveries. Under this mandate, urban residents have a strict 90-day compliance window to apply for a piped natural gas connection. Piped natural gas, or PNG, is delivered directly to homes through utility pipelines, removing the need for physical transport. To enforce this energy lockdown, the government has banned households from maintaining dual connections. Oil marketing companies will automatically block all physical LPG refills for any home eligible for a PNG meter. This is a deliberate strategic trade-off. Forcing urban residents to pay upfront connection fees for PNG guarantees urban energy stability, while conserving the limited physical LPG supply for rural populations without pipeline access. Survival in 2026 centers on rapidly complying with these new energy infrastructure rules to keep your household running. The secondary shockwave hitting households is currency devaluation. The Indian rupee dropped to record lows against the US dollar, actively shrinking your savings purchasing power. The government intervened fiscally to absorb some of this inflation, implementing a historic 10 rupee per liter excise duty cut on petrol and diesel, sacrificing state revenue to stabilize consumer prices. But macroeconomic defense is not enough. You must immediately perform a rigorous financial audit of your own household to match the government strategy. You must aggressively cut non-essential subscriptions and discretionary spending, redirecting that capital to build a highly accessible emergency fund. Simultaneously, a portion of this liquidity must secure adequate life and health insurance coverage to offset unpredictable medical costs. The real battleground of this crisis is your bank account. Surviving an energy-driven economic shock requires ruthless financial agility to outpace inflation. We can contrast the high financial cost of panic hoarding with the highly rational, targeted physical preparedness recommended by the National Center for Disease Control. The official checklist focuses on surviving localized disruptions, requiring a communication plan, vital documents, and structural escape routes. Actual supplies include packed water, a torch, and chlorine tablets. The cost of this kit is a fraction of what people spend stockpiling canned goods. True physical resilience comes from assembling this low-cost, targeted baseline kit. That approach leaves the vast majority of your capital entirely free for economic defense. For students and remote workers, the rumors have sparked anxiety over potential exam delays and a return to isolation. The government has made its priorities clear. Major exams, academic schedules, and corporate operations are proceeding on time because the state's goal is institutional continuity. If you fall into this demographic, ignore the noise. Focus your resources on digital continuity. Invest in reliable power banks and stable backup internet to work through minor energy grid hiccups. Letting rumors derail your career or education is a self-inflicted risk while the state maintains continuity. Current public preparations are still calibrated for a 2020-style health emergency. This matrix maps the reality of 2026. Traditional medical hoarding is a high-cost, low-impact strategy. High-impact results come from financial agility and energy compliance. To reach this quadrant, apply for PNG, audit subscriptions for cash reserves, and pack a basic NCDC survival kit. Taking these precise, calculated steps is the only verified way to shield your household from the volatile geopolitical shocks heading our way. By correctly diagnosing the threat and reallocating your capital to build energy and financial buffers, you can outsmart the viral panic and secure your future.